Hi, my friends. This is Lada from astrolada.com, and I'm doing your weekly horoscope from the 10th of July till the 16th of July 2017. And because this week is quite easygoing with almost no aspects happening, I will leave some time at the end for questions from you, astrological questions. That's it, that people will find interesting. Let me check the chat to see that it's working, to make sure that we can... that you can ask the questions at the end. Just a second, checking everything. It seems that everything is in order. And I will start your astrological forecast now. Okay, so this week, as I said, is quite positive. We have just two aspects forming. So I'll talk a bit more about the general climate of this week. There's no stressful influences, not many at least, only at the beginning, but you know, their planets are still all over. They're in different houses, they're in different signs, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, and what aspects will be happening. And we'll go after that to some of your questions if you have such, guys. So prepare them. So today is the full moon, and also tomorrow on Sunday. So happy full moon. It's a full moon of wealth, if you remember what Triple Nikolov said on my previous weekend. So if you have to start some project, do it today or tomorrow, because it's going to bring more financial wealth to you over the time when it grows. So let's see how this week is. Well, the coming week we continue to have the two planets of action, Mars and the Sun. They're the two most masculine planets. They signify male figures in our horoscope, or our own initiative and activity and proactivity. They're both in the same sign, very close together. They'll be following each other together till September, by the way. It means that they're in Cancer right now. So for each sign, it means that they'll be super proactive and busy and move things forward and push through walls in different areas of their life. So let's see. And to be honest, their actions and our actions will be, because Mars and the Sun are planets of actions, will be triggered on emotional, personal basis, because they're in the sign of Cancer. What will spur us into action is something that strongly resonates with us emotionally. It's something that we feel strongly attached to. It's something. It's going to be an action. Whatever pushes us into action will be in the desire to protect what we have, to protect who we love, or to defend that area of our life in some way. Just like a mother, like a hen mother or mother bear, because Cancer is the sign of the mother, who do the same for its children. But this is like the more masculine side of a mother that will show in the coming week, like we've been doing it already, because Sun and Mars have been for the last week as well, and for the past almost 10 days, I would say, or a few days together in Cancer. But we continue through in the following week with that energy, where we show our mama bear skills in certain areas, and defensiveness, and working towards goals, you know, two masculine planets working towards goals, but provoked by feelings of defense, of feelings of protection, of feelings of emotional, triggered by emotional reactions. So for Aries, that would be their home and family, where those two masculine planets are. Aries can be super busy with doing things with family, with maybe they were already, because these planets were there, but it continues to fix something at home, to whether to clean their home, whether to fix things at home, whether to do something around their garden, or whether to do busy activities with their families. But they have to be careful that there might be provocations, emotional outbursts within the family, because Cancer is very emotional, and the two feisty planets, the Sun and Mars, they of course can spur Aries to be more reactive towards close and dearest ones. And their close and dearest ones might be the ones that push their buttons as well. But if you have some important projects to do in your home, or with your loved ones and family, or projects that you almost like, you might feel even spurred to defend your loved ones or your family, your home, to protect it, to build walls around it, or you know, to fight for your home and for your loved ones in some way, and for your personal life, to put a lot of energy and push into a personal life. For Taurus, the Sun and Mars, these two proactive planets, are in the third house, so they might be very kind of sharp in their communications, but almost in a defensive way. Their communications can be very, and by the way, check your ascendant sign, guys. Check your ascendant sign, not only the sun sign, and the moon as well. So if you have Taurus ascendant or sun, these two proactive planets in the third house, so you have the green light to go and be very, very busy. The third house is the house of business, especially if you're a Taurus who has some kind of business activities, administrative activities, commercial activities, sales of any sort, promotions of any sort, any transactions, any kind of social media communications, exchange of information, exchange of goods. Very busy house, the third house. So you can be very, very busy if you're Taurus in regards to that area of your life, to be productive, to make things happen, even to make things happen in regards to learning new skills, using your skills. You might have to use your skills very actively, and you might be very spurred by sentimental reasons to use your skills, or to communicate and to say things that you might regret as well, because Mars and the Sun in Cancer are very sensitive. They'll make you rush and say things, Taurus, that due to emotional reasons, and because of those, you might feel, you might take things too personally, and you might be too fast to bite back. To answer to others. So be careful a little bit with that. You can also be very busy with trips, with short trips of any sorts, with marketing, with advertising of any sorts, with social media. And you have the green card to move forward there. But be careful not to be too, how do I say, to take things too personally when it comes to your communications, and to what others, and you to bite back too much. If you're Gemini, it's happening in your second house. You can be very proactive in regards to arranging matters of family. Again, second house also rules family matters, of material goods, of money, of resources, of tangible objects, of, say, going after, if you want to find out a new source of materials for your business, for example, the two proactive planets in your second house can be very good for that, can push in that direction. But don't forget that they're also, when they're in the second house of conserving, second house wants to conserve, to preserve money, to preserve tangible things. When the two active masculine planets are there, you Geminis might feel like spending more. Or you might do like spontaneous purchases and more kind of reckless purchases. Or you might have sudden expenses. Or you might spend more money for your family, because they're in the second house in the sign of Cancer, family. You might have sudden expenses in regards to your home as well, or something to do for personal reasons to make yourself feel better in some way. So be careful. You can spend more money, but also you can be more proactive about sourcing resources and material things. Then if you are Cancer, well, Mars and the Sun are in your sign, Cancer, absolutely. And what it means, it's go time for Cancers now. Of course, Cancers are always motivated by feelings and emotions, but they have to be careful because they can be overly reactive with the two, because Cancer is very sensitive sign and very defensive. When these two fiery planets in their sign, they can become quite reactive emotionally, and they can do actions. The first house, their house, is actions, initiate things that are provoked just on an emotional basis, that are not so objective, and maybe some of you might have to do that, but just be careful that you don't become that you might come across as too pushy. You might come across as too rough in some way, this masculine energy, and you can siphon off some energy in important project. It's best to use this masculine energy for important business, work projects, to fix something, to get started something, to initiate new things. Even though the moon is growing small, it doesn't matter. For you, it's time to initiate Cancers. Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, you feel very active, very outgoing, but also very stressed, because this is high energy, the Sun and Mars, And so be careful. You can channel that energy if you don't have any important projects to be active in, to lead, to initiate. Then go and do some physical exercise. Otherwise, you might feel stressed, you might feel emotionally reactive, you might become a bit bearish or bullish or whatever it's called. So yeah, do some physical exercise. try to take a breather, but it might be a very, very busy week for many of you, you know, and especially those of you who are, who have Mars, who Mars is now from the 22 to 28 degrees in Cancer, which means that Cancers which are born, so if you have ascendant or sun or moon from 20 to 28 degrees, so the last 10 degrees of Cancer, which means if you're born from around the 14th of July to around the 21st, 22nd of July, this week can be very hectic, very busy, and you can feel like a lot of things are happening because Mars is the planet of action, and that you're given a lot of tasks or energetic tasks to complete. You might have to be rushing for something because Mars is rushing speed, you know, and you might feel provoked by others, Cancer, so be a bit more careful. But it's time for initiating stuff, and maybe some very you can come across, if you need Cancers to come across as more assertive, as more powerful, now is the time to do it. If you're usually lacking backbone, with those two planets, the Sun and Mars, can help you. But if you're not liking it, you can become overly, you know, assertive in some ways and upset others. Okay, then if you are Leos, well, those two planets of action fall in your 12th house, guys, for another week, which means that you might be feeling less motivated because the 12th house is an invisible house. It's kind of like behind you, sitting there. And it's more like there's some activities happening behind your back. All the activities is behind your back, or it's kind of in a state of preparation, almost like you're preparing something. It's not time for action for you yet, Leo. If you're ascendant Leo, Sun in Leo, it's not time for action. Wait till Mars and the Sun move into your sign. It will be not long ago, 10 days from now, they'll start moving into your sign. So it will be the perfect time for you to initiate things, but that's why you might be feeling a bit more drained, a bit more emotional, a bit more irritable for unclear reasons as well, because those planets of fire, irritability, you know, are in this the house of the subconscious. So it's kind of, you're not quite sure why, you're kind of feeling restless, but you don't have the energy to really move forward, you know. Or you might be using your energy in a more productive, if you don't, especially if you don't want to just lay around and lazy, you can use that time for preparation, to kind of something, you know, like simmering, preparing it, researching something. 12th house is good when the planets of activity are there, to research something, to complete something, work on completing something. That's a great time to do that rather than starting new things for you, Leos. And also, is the 12th house the house of expenses? So there might be some extra expenses. Be careful with that. Maybe you're feeling it already. And there might be, maybe not necessarily financial. It might be like you spending energy, but not, you know, feeling more exhausted and not seeing the results coming back so quickly. Or maybe having to help someone, because 12th house is the house of charity. Like putting something in a well that you leave it and you never see it before, after that. And so use your energy, if you have it, to help others, to prepare, to research something. Then if you're Virgo, the Sun and Mars are continue to be in your 11th house, activities, social activities, Virgo ascendant, Virgo Sun people, and even Moon, busy on the social scene, busy following your goals. The 11th house is goals, busy towards activities that will lead you to gainfulness of some sort, initiating actions which will lead to more gainfulness in your life. But this fiery energy can come to you through your friends, for example. Them, like more male friends can get in touch with you. You can be communicating more with this male crowd. You can, 11th house is mentors, maybe some male mentors, so people in the form of mentors can try and, you know, give you advice, but also there might be some clashes between you and your social environment, because these planets are fiery, don't forget, and those clashes can be provoked on emotional basis. So don't step and don't provoke your friends about personal things. But also remember that your friends can provoke you about personal issues. And if you have some important projects to do, and you don't feel, you know, do important projects with groups of people, because this is where the motivation and the drive, the two masculine planets are in the 11th house. Doing it maybe on the internet, big groups of people, maybe doing some activities and organizing some group party or whatever, or if you're doing some business thing, attract a few more people around you, interact with bigger audience, reach out to bigger audiences. this is where you'll find your motivation. Okay, then if you are Libra, the Sun and Mars directly above in the highest point in your horoscope, the 10th house, which means that it's great time to take initiatives in regards to your work and career in particular. You might have felt that busy, lots of deadlines probably, or lots of pressure and energy there. Or maybe if you're not busy, maybe some authority figure, the 10th house, or father figure, or authority figure, or some institution might be putting pressure on you and energizing you to act or to do something. Maybe your boss might be demanding more, to put more energy, to put more, strenuous skills, to use your, and the best thing is if you're your own boss, then these two more aggravating and bossy planets don't come to you from another, but you push yourself harder in regards to your career and in regards to initiating and getting a lot of work done and your worldly responsibilities. And if you have bosses, authority figures above you, don't start fighting with them. The power is with them. The masculine planets are with them. If you're your own boss, it means you'll be motivated. Don't start fighting with your father. Don't start fighting with bosses, authority figures, even if they're more provoking, because they'll react very emotionally to you. They can be like, eh. But it's great time to kind of feel more ambitious and driven in regards to your career, and especially due to maybe someone would say something that hurts your pride, or that hurts your sensitive feelings, that, or maybe just to protect your business, to protect your career, of those guardianship feelings of Cancer will trigger into action. Then if you're Scorpio, Mars and the Sun, the two masculine planets of initiative, are in your 9th house. Well, it's a great time to go on a holiday. If you're going to be doing some sports or trekking, 9th house is far away countries, other cultures. If you're going to be actively kind of getting to know other cultures, or to be actively involved with foreigners or people from different social class or standing than you, this is also the 9th house. And to interact with such people that are not your local, friends, or your local people that are from either foreigners or different state. You can become active with such people, or it's a perfect time to be very active and to initiate things in regards to arranging some legal things, legal matters, the 9th house, the house of the law. If you're arranging something to do, and there might be some battle there, because these two planets are masculine, fiery, there might be some battle of opinions, battle with belief systems, but also it will help you some kind of be more excited about your goals for the future, because the 9th house is the house of the future. And when Mars and the Sun is there, we kind of feel excited and we get new goals there. And it can even be a great time to pre-qualify, or to add some extra certificate, or to start studying something else, like a different direction, or to arrange matters of higher education or foreign travel of any sort. But again, remember that those planets are angry, so you can receive some stresses from those mentioned people that are represented by the 9th house. But overall, it's very optimistic, because Cancer, where the Sun and Mars is a water sign, and water sign support other water signs. So you Scorpios are being supported by the Sun and Mars in Cancer to feel more optimistic for the future, to start acting on your plans for the future as well. Then if you are Sagittarius, it's in your 8th house. So there might be expenses that come to you from others, because these two planets are impulsive, remember. They might be you might be spending impulsively on others. So there might be like your husband or business partner demands more money or spends some more money or something like that. But also you can be more initiative in regards to activities with another person, with their resources, with their, for example, you can take action and together with your husband or with your partner, over the coming 10 days, while Mars and the Sun are in your 8th house, to remortgage the house, for example, to go after mutual resources of some sort. you can go and fight for something to do with taxes, something to do with inheritances, and you'll most likely win, because Mars, the planet of the winners, is in your 8th house of matters connected to inheritances, to mutual resources. And if you need support from someone now, because 8th house is support that comes to us from others, you have to go and take it. Don't wait for others to offer it to you. Your strategy, if you're Sagittarius, is to go and ask for it, to even be a bit blunt and go after it, from support from others. So if someone owes you money, go and ask for it. You have to push. It doesn't happen without the masculine planets of initiative and energy in the 8th house. Then you might have some power struggles more than other signs, because the 8th house is the house of power struggles, and Sun and Mars is initiative, bringing lots of activity there. So there might be especially power struggles with some masculine figures. If you're a Capricorn ascendant, to a lesser degree Sun, but still, Sun and Mars are in your 7th house. So your best strategy, if you want to move forward, to have progress, because this is what the masculine planets want to do. The female planets want to preserve, they want to nurture, preserve, grow. Masculine planets, they want to initiate, to start, to have progress. So if you want to have progress, engage on one-to-one basis with another person. You might be very busy working on one-to-one with clients. You might be very proactive in some business deals or business sales, because the 7th house also rules business exchange with one and another, thing with another, so this is business. And also you can feel more sexual as well, because those 2 fire planets in the 7th house can increase sexuality. So can Sagittarius. The 8th house is also connected to sexual desires, more passionate and intense. Well, the 7th house, they're more like the people that you attract, and you would attract more sexy Mars, more but at the same time, more important people. The Sun is important people. Mars is more bossy as well. They can be pushy. They can be pressing your buttons. Don't go fighting with others. The ball is in their court in the 7th house. But you'll be yourself. You'd want to be more feisty and to prove yourself in front of others. So there can be some stresses from other people, basically. Stresses that come to you from other people, that are more dominating, from your partners, but also the sexual energy will increase. And especially if you're Capricorn in the last 10 degrees, from 21, 22 to 28, 29 degrees in Capricorn, you'd feel this tension of Mars coming more, like during the next week. Maybe a fight with someone can happen, someone can provoke you, or in the best case scenario, and someone can react very emotionally to you, and you can very defensively. And in the best case scenario is that you can be very active and go after some goal together with another person, or with your partner, for example. You can be actively involved in following in achieving, or you can be your work partner of some sort, that you're actively working on something. So people that have basically Capricorn at those last degrees, which means that they are born, if it's their Sun, from around the 12th of January to around the 18th of January, they'll have more stressed week, provocations coming to them from others. But they can use it. Every time I have a Mars aspect, difficult aspect, someone annoys me. And I don't usually react like that. But when I have a Mars aspect, it annoys me so much. Someone would make a comment, and first I film, and I'm like, I want to answer back. And then I start thinking, oh my God, yes, okay, they said it bluntly and they hurt me, but there is a point there, and I learned something. It even spurs me to become more ambitious and to become more competitive and to do better. So Mars, even in difficult transits, has its purpose. If you're Aquarius, like I am, Aquarius ascendant, Mars and the Sun have been and still are in our 6th house. So lots of work. Oh my God, I can't tell you how much there's been. And a lot of family things, because I'm also Aries Sun. So a lot of family things, a lot of family events happening, interactions, but also 6th house from ascendant, they fall there. So we continue to have 1 week of very busy work, of a lot of errands. Even if you don't work, you're running errands around the house, or you're just busy again, and you have things to fix. 6th house is fixing things to perfect, working especially with details. And it's good time to initiate new work projects and to initiate new projects that are connected to something that is fine detail, that is more niche of some sort. But it can be a bit stressful on the health. It can be exhausting when those two masculine, there might be some inflammatory conditions, because these are fiery planets, whether in the stomach or whether in the, because Cancer rules the stomach, or just inflammation or high temperature or sore throat or something. Just be careful, or some kind of little accident. Sixth house is the house of health, so we have to be a bit more careful not to exhaust ourselves from too much work or too much worry. Sometimes with, you know, the sixth house can make us worry about everyday small things, and you know, matters like that. Yes, there's so much work for me next week. Already started. I've been feeling the last week and the next week as well. So tomorrow I'll interview with April about career. That would be great. Listen to us again for free. And then another interview about Neptune, remedies for Neptune, what to do with difficult Neptune positions in your horoscope, on Thursday with the PhD Dr. Diana, okay, Bakalova. Anyway, and then if you're Pisces, it's happening in your fifth house, strongly supported. It's time to have fun. The Sun and Mars, be proactive with activities with your children, with activities with your loved one. Fifth house rules our loved ones, our children, our lovers. You might be very active for dates. And actually, if you want to have a good date, you might find yourself, even though you're, you know, Pisces, which is more passive sign, that you're approaching people, to invite them to date, or to just to flirt with them, just to have fun with them, you might find yourself being more center of attention and being more competitive in such kind of social fun situations, and in such kind of fifth house is how we have fun. It's fifth house is the house of children. We can be more active with, you can be more active with your children, but they also can be a source of some frustrations and anger, because Mars is there as well, and some problems that you have to fix and to be proactively going after. But it's also a good time for sports activities. Fifth house is sports we do for fun. Now, even if you don't normally do that, you might find yourself in situations where you're like playing tennis or whatever, or being more active for sports somehow. And you might find yourself that you're more, you're actively pursuing more fun activities, which is great. Or any creative pursuits. The fifth house is, say, if you're a writer, if you have your own business, is the fifth house, that you're like putting more creative thought and more action into doing something in regards to your business to move it forward in some way. Okay, that's about 12 signs with the Sun and Mars this week. But we also have Venus in Gemini. It continues to be there. And in the last week, I spoke about what it means for everyone to have Venus in Gemini till the end of July. I'll just mention that this week, Geminis that are born, basically, if you have ascendant from 4 degrees till 13 degrees in Gemini, which means that if you have your sun from around the 26th or the 25th of May till around the 4th of June, Venus will be transiting over your sun or over your ascendant. You know, the degrees for Venus are 4 degrees till 13 degrees Gemini. So check on the planetary detail table from my birth chart calculator. If your ascendant falls there, if your moon falls there, good news in Gemini, you know, you will have, or born on those days that I mentioned, you're going to have a much better week. And actually, Geminis need a little bit of a respite, because Saturn has really whooped their asses in the last couple of years, pushing them hard. And now Venus will smooth things out this week and maybe give you more pleasures, maybe make you feel more attractive. To some of you, can even bring love, because Venus is the planet of love. Or you might just feel more loving towards your partner, or you might be attracting more sensual, pleasant experiences, pleasant conversations, pleasant social experiences, pleasant and enjoyable. The joys, the sensual joys of life are Venus. So they're coming to those Geminis that are born around those days. If you are a Leo, Mercury is in your sign, Leo, whether it's your ascendant, sun, or moon. And who feels it? Well, all Leos will feel to some extent. But mostly Leos that are born this week from 7 degrees till 19 degrees. Anyone who has sun, ascendant, or moon from 7 till 19 degrees, which means your sun, if it's from 7 till 19 degrees, it means that you are born from around the 30th of July to around the 12th of August. So the first 12 days of August, born Leos, Mercury is passing over your ascendant, if it's those degrees, 7 till 19, or over your moon, which means that lots of communication. People might get in touch with you. People might call you more. You might have a lot of administrative tasks. You might do some traveling. You might be busy moving a lot. You might be doing some tasks that require a lot of your skills. You might have some important communications, important news from letters, important developments with siblings and friends. You might have important business developments, important interviews, important discussions as well. And they would be going quite well, because this week Mercury is making just one aspect, and it's a sextile to Jupiter, as far as I remember. Yes, let me just check. It was a sextile to Jupiter. I'm opening my birth chart, my calendar for 2017 on the 14th of July, but I'll give you 2-3 days before, 2-3 days after. Mercury making sextile to Jupiter. Leos benefit from that, but also do the Mercury ruled people. Gemini, Virgos, whether sun or ascendant, will benefit. And Jupiter people will benefit, Sagittarius and Pisces. And Libras, because Jupiter is in Libra, can feel it most. So it's an optimistic, feel-good time. It's good for taking exams. It's good for important communications, because they'll be friendly. They'll flow easy. Jupiter is a benefic, flowing easy. There might be some business opportunity that come for everyone, but in particular for those signs can feel it more. But stay tuned for around the 14th of July for some extra business opportunities. For example, opportunities to travel, to see and to become conscious. The two planets, Mercury and Jupiter, the planets of the lower and higher mind, to become conscious of more opportunities. You'll have better judgment. You expand your knowledge and outlook in some way. You might, for example, it can be something very small, like reading an insightful article. It's good for education, for legal and international affairs. Jupiter rules those things. And good with collaborating with others. Mercury rules small groups, work in small groups. And yeah, favorable for business and travel. And actually the week starts with the Sun opposition Pluto on Monday. So at the start of the week, we might feel a bit more tense, a bit more power struggles that are happening. But then it gets good. So be tuned in a bit, especially Cancers, Aries, Capricorns, and Libras, because it's happening in the cardinal signs, the Sun opposition Pluto. So and Leos can feel it, because Leos are ruled by the sun. So be careful, because you might feel like there might be some manipulative force around you. Don't confront authority figures, because the sun rules authority figures and Pluto is intense, and it can lead to complications, and yeah, that's kind of what's happening this week. Oh, remember when we did with Trifon, he said that on the 13th, I have here, on the 13th, Venus, the star of wealth, is conjunct the planet of wealth is conjunct. It's the planet of money, and the planet of love is conjunct a very auspicious star in the sky. It's a star of wealth, Aldebaran. So it's very auspicious if you're doing some important financial transactions on the 13th. Around the 13th, maybe even on the 12th, 13th, and 14th. And remember, on the 14th, we have Mercury sextile Jupiter. So those 3 days are quite good, guys, for business stuff, for money, for, it's wealth, planet of wealth and star, a planet of money and star of wealth. If you have something important to do with that, start it around that time, especially when Venus is rising. And on the 14th and the 15th, the sun and the moon are in trine aspect in the sky, which means that good things are happening. The days flow easier for most people. So yeah, that's about it, guys. That's my prediction for you. Don't forget to join me and April on the 12th of July for How to Find Your Vocation webinar. April will be leading it, and I'll be adding in my insights. And it's for beginners. There is a manual, even or for people that know a lot of astrology. Even if you don't know astrology, the manual comes. You can understand the signs and the houses from the beginning, through the manual. But now I can spend a few minutes answering questions of yours, guys. Let me open. Did I just close it? Yes, I've closed my chat. How do I do that? New window. Okay, let me see if I can find the chat again. Yes. Good. Live can, but the chat is not showing. Sorry. Live chat. Okay. Okay. What kinds of questions are we allowed to ask in general? Well, such that you think others will also find interesting. Like if you tell me, oh, I have Chiron in the 5th house, semi-sextile, Jupiter, and no one would listen to that. But okay, I lost the chat again. I'm so bad with such things. And sorry, guys, I don't see your chat. But my lovely husband just gave me another laptop, so I'm gonna look through it. Okay. Will things become better for the Virgo Sun people? When Saturn comes out from Sagittarius, actually when Saturn starts turning direct, because from now Saturn is aspecting the sign of Virgo with its full 100-degree aspect, and when it's retrograde, Saturn is twice heavier and twice more intense, and it becomes direct from the end of August. So gradually after August, things will start become lighter for Virgos, because Saturn, the planet that's aspecting Saturn, of difficulties, of blockages, of delays, and duties and responsibility moves direct. Okay. Someone is asking, Venus in the 12th house. Do you mean if you have it in your birth chart? Venus in the 12th house, I have a video about Venus in the 12th house. Predisposes a person to like people that are very different to them, and even to secret affairs, or to dream and to desire someone that's a bit unrealistic, and that they, at least once in their life, they'll have a relationship where they're, and usually it repeats more than once because it's a pattern, where they'll pine for someone they can't have, or someone that's already in a relationship, or someone that everyone else realizes they're so incompatible, but they're kind of idealizing the person. But in the long run, it can, the higher manifestation of that is giving actually someone from a foreign country, again, very different than you, but at least not in such an unrealistic way as someone who is secret affairs and stuff. And it's very creative. This is an amazing way to sublimate those desires, those hidden feelings and desires that the person has, because they're hidden and the feelings are not often expressed directly, and it can create undercurrents in the relationships. But it's great to express this kind of longing for the ideal love through art in some way. And if you direct it in this way, it can remedy something artistic. Check out the sign of Venus, will tell you what kind of artistic activity, something creative to do. And they're very devotional. Venus in the 12th house is extremely spiritually devotional. If they take a spiritual practice, they can sublimate those more desire, those pained feelings, and those unfulfilled idealistic ideas about relationships through a spiritual or creative field. How do you see things going for Leo suns? I'm Leo rising, Aquarius moon, and Scorpio Mars. Well, some Leos will have life-changing transformations in their life because of the eclipses happening in Leo, and they continue. One is on the, so basically in the next year and a half, many Leos will have fated events happen to them, but in an empowering way, because the North Node is causing those eclipses, and the North Node is a planet of you gain something, but it still can be preceded by chaos. say you lose a job and you gain a better job, or you lose something important in your life and you gain a better one, or there is some kind of uncertainty or chaos first, and even fear, because eclipses create the fear, you know, the uncertainty and the fear from the new things that are coming. But usually you gain something out of it. It's empowering because Leo is your ascendant, and you have to let go of some relationship possibly as well over the next year and a half. Some unhealthy or contract or agreement. What does it mean if you have Pluto conjunct your North Node? Well, I can logically tell you, I don't remember if I've had seen clients with that, but North Node is what you get more and more of in your life the older you get, and what you have to consciously develop here in your lifetime. So there might be an obsession with power and control in this lifetime, because Rahu, the North Node, is like a magnifying glass, and Pluto is very obsessive planet as well, and whatever house they fall in, this is where you feel the influence. Not so much on Pluto, but there will be like a powerful magnifying glass of very intense desire and obsession and desire for control, or you know, or desire to have, and powerful ability possibly to manifest in whatever house they fall together. But there might be some extreme tendency of obsessiveness somehow with Pluto intensifying the North Node. But the mission of your life is to learn to control power. Whether you're giving your power away or you're taking it, or you're taking someone's power. You know, if you're emotional bully, if you're passive aggressive, you know, it's kind of the power. Pluto rules how we control power. Some people have given their power away to another. And often you would have from both lessons, and these will be some of the most important lessons in your life. Okay. I might be dead inside. Oh, I hope not. Okay. Will Mars going through the 8th house be a good time to find loan or file a claim for insurance? Yes, but you have to push hard for it. You know, you have to be the one that takes the action and initiates for it. So yes, that will be. Because Mars activates us into action. So yes, go for it. And if it makes good aspects from your 8th house, if your 8th house has a lot of planets making bad aspects to it, you should never take a loan because you'll always have problems. It will always create problems in other life of your horoscope. But if Mars is making good aspects and transiting your 8th house, and from there making at least a few good, you know, then, oh yes. Ogunit Lubov, what does North Node in Sagittarius in 5th house mean? It means that your mission in this lifetime, and you can, if you've taken my course all about Rahu and Ketu, I speak about those combinations and what it means in depth. But the North Node in the 5th in Sagittarius, you're here to learn inspiration, both are fiery, the 5th house and Sagittarius. You're here to develop your fire. You're here to develop, to inspire others, Sagittarius, through something creative. It might be your own business that you start. It might be your own some kind of idea creative. It doesn't necessarily have to be painting or drawing, but you know, and it might be expressed also through physical activity. 5th house is very sporty, Sagittarius is very physical again, and also to follow, they're both very spiritual as well. In a sense, Sagittarius is higher knowledge. You're here to learn intuition, to develop intuition, and to apply it, say, in your business, or to apply it in creativity, to apply it with your children, the 5th house. You're here to have children in this lifetime. And the North Node in the 5th house, often you can have children from a mixed marriage, different country, or even adopted children, and even foreign children in some way. Sagittarius is foreign. Okay. What is the significance of a stellium in the 9th house in the natal chart? 9th house and stellium is many planets together, guys. More than 4. They have to be more than 4 planets, not counting Rahu, Ketu, not counting Chiron. I wouldn't count Uranus and Neptune either, and Pluto, but the other 7 planets. If you have 4 or 3 or 4 or more of those. This is a stellium. Well, I have a webinar on stelliums again. Wherever there is a stellium, this is your purpose in life. This is something that you come with instructions and you're focusing. If you don't do that 9 house things, you're never going to feel fulfilled because you have so much energy focused in one house. Even if you have the children, the money, whatever the other houses are, but they don't have planets, you'd never feel happy emotionally within, because you have one specific goal. Not only one, but the one that brings you fulfillment is the 9th house. And that the 9th house, I have a best friend who has a stellium there for a planet. Well, since the age of 18, she lived abroad all the time. Since and she's constantly traveling. Her life is a travel from country to country. That might be a mission. And she does a lot of pictures and posts them, and kind of she encourages international. She has friends from all different cultures and encourages. Somehow almost inspires people to see that we might be different color and skin, but we're all connected. You know, we're all the same and we're similar, have similar needs. And so it's something to do with either foreign countries, working with foreign countries, traveling a lot as a mission. It's also something to do with higher knowledge. Such people search for higher knowledge. They search for the meaning of life. They search for, why am I here on earth? And they're very good at giving advice to others. Even when they're not asked for, they can be very good. They're here to be teachers as well. The 9th house is teaching. Maybe they might be in some academic environment, professors of some sort, or teaching higher knowledge, or giving advice and helping others see the bigger picture. Okay, I'm taking the last one. What is it? What if is Jupiter in good dignity in Scorpio? According to ancient astrology, yes, because Scorpio is ruled by Mars, and Mars and Jupiter are friends. So Western astrology doesn't say that, but I have seen it that it's quite good. Jupiter in all water signs is quite good. It actually gives very strong intuition, because the water signs are already intuitive, and Jupiter expands that intuition, and it gives very good, deeper spirituality. And they don't even have to look for it, because they feel it. You know, people with Jupiter in air signs is weak, because Jupiter is God and looking for meaning. They have to read about it. They intellectualize God, and they try to understand it through the mind. Like I have Jupiter in Libra, and I try to understand God through the mind, but God has to be felt. The higher meaning, your higher purpose has to be felt. And Jupiter in water sign is good. And Jupiter in Scorpio is strong as well, because it can, depends what house it is again, but well, you know, it's also, it can expand the ability of a person to benefit through others. It can expand the healing ability of a person. Scorpio is healing. It can expand the ability, therapeutical and transformational ability of a person. One can have like a Kundalini spiritual awakening who has Jupiter in Scorpio, unless it's blocked in some way. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being so patient, being with me here. Maybe we can do this more often, instead of focusing so much on the weekly and making them so long. I can do for you more like answering questions, because I find this so much fun. I really enjoy it. And expect by the end of next week my August videos about the eclipse, how it's going to affect each one. Not everyone will feel it, to be honest. But, you know, we have to mention all the houses in different areas of life. But it's going to be a powerful one for certain people. So, yes, thank you so much. Check out, it's the last day today, another few hours remaining of the sales of the courses, almost 30 to 50% off. And then from tomorrow, they go the normal price. And the next time there will be a sale, probably on my birthday next year. So thank you so much, everyone. And I look forward to see you on my webinar with April.